This is the all-new Specialized Generation 4 Levo. It's a full-power EMTB with up to 111 Nm of torque, with 720 watts of peak power, and a removable 840 Wh battery. The motor has been developed from the ground up. It's more efficient, it's quieter, and it's stronger than ever, with natural feeling support that doesn't fade away at higher cadences. The bike's got 150mm of travel on the rear, paired with a 160mm fork out the front, and a brand new Genie suspension system and a mixed wheel setup. The geometry is fully adjustable, the battery is modular, and there's some impressive tech that's built into the bike. In this first look tech video, I'll be breaking down all of the bike's features. A full ride-in video will follow soon, so be sure to subscribe if you want to be the first to see that. We've got a ton to unpack, so let's get right into the new motor. The S-Works gets the full power 111 Nm motor with 720 watts of peak power, and all the others in the range get a 101 Nm motor with 666 watts of peak power. The motor is brand new, completely new. It's been built in collaboration with Bros, but it's a completely unique to Specialized motor, and it really does pack a punch. This is a seriously powerful drive unit. Now, peak torque is 111 Nm, and it has that continuously in turbo if you want it to. There's no like boost setting for a certain amount of time, then it fades off. It's just a continuous amount of torque. And let me tell you, it is seriously punchy. It is noticeably different to the previous Gen Levo. It is way more punchy and more powerful. What matters more though is how it delivers that power. It's smooth, quiet, and it doesn't drop off when you're spinning fast, which is where some other systems can struggle. The blue line here is the new motor compared to the Gen 3 motor. It feels direct, but easy to control on steep and technical climbs. There's also updates that improve the responsiveness, especially at lower speed, and the overall efficiency is better too. On some technical descents there is a slight motor rattle. It's very quiet, but it is noticeable. But overall it is a solid upgrade, not just stronger but better thought out. It doesn't have a belt drive anymore. Specialized bought out belt drive motors with Bros, and if you've been following e-bikes, at the start they had quite a few issues with I don't know, belts going and belt snapping and all that kind of stuff. Over the years, the reliability improved, but this has now gone to like a geared system inside. There's no belts in here, and it's a fairly compact unit. It's not the smallest on the market, but it's of a size that looks pretty good, looks pretty comfortable on this frame. The motor area looks much more slimline than the previous generation, which has been made possible by the dimensions of the motor, the new frame design, and the relocated battery. The frame on the new Gen 4 Levo is a full redesign. It now follows the cleaner layout we've seen on the latest Levo SL and the stump jumper, so there's no more sidearm brace near the shock. Instead, it's a more open and minimal look, and the S-Works version has a carbon extension mounted to the shock. There's SWAT storage inside the down tube, which as far as I know is the first e-bike with internal storage, and the battery is accessed through a side hatch. The frames have got clearance for very long droppers on most sizes, and on the S5 should easily fit a 240mm dropper completely slammed. So it's a mullet, 29 at the front, 27.5 out the rear. It's running a 160 Fox 38 and 150 out the rear, and it's using Specialized's new Genie shock that they introduced on the stump jumper. The Genie shock is a dual-stage air spring system, and it's designed to offer a more of a coil-like feel in the first 70% of travel for small bump sensitivity, and then it ramps up in the final 30% to prevent bottoming out on bigger hits. This is a burly build, The Gen 4 Levo comes spec'd with proper gravity tyres front and rear, and the big 840 battery. In size S5, it comes in at just under 23.6 kilos. So yeah, it's not light, but that weight reflects what this bike is built for. Big climbs, big descents and proper trail punishment. Now I really like it when brands allow you to tinker around a little bit with the geometry on the bike, and we're starting to see more and more on most bikes that are coming out, but we've got 3 different settings on this bike. On the chainstay, you've got a flip chip here. Now the stock setting is actually quite short, it's 435mm on all bike sizes, and if you're a taller rider like me, this is an S5. I'm 6'3" or 191 centimeters. I found it quite short in the stock setting at 435. I found it wanted to like loop out the front on super steep climbs with this really powerful motor. So I immediately changed it and put it into the longer setting. It adds 9mm to the rear. So it goes from 435 to 444, which is still maybe on the short side for my preference, but it's nice to see you can adjust it. There is a flip chip just here on the shock strut that raises or lowers the bottom bracket height by 6mm. So a little bit more ground clearance, or you can drop it by 6mm if you want to get closer to the deck. I find that tends to give a real planted feeling in corners. You can really rail corners. And on the head tube, you can adjust the head angle by 1 degree. So you can increase it by 1 degree, have it in a neutral position, or get it as slack as 63.5 degrees. So on my test bike, I've got it in the long setting here. I'm running it in the low setting on the shock, and I'm running it in the slackest head angle at 63.5 degrees. So how do you actually decide what you're going to do when you design a bike in terms of battery? Everyone has different wants and needs, don't they? Whether it's small lightweight bikes with smaller batteries that you're just going to go out for a quick 1 hour rip on, or is it something like an all-day epic that you're going to be able to go out and just do miles and miles and big climbs and not worry about battery life at all? It's one of those complex things that bike brands have to decide on, because it really does make a massive difference on the overall bike. The whole design kind of has to center around the battery. So Specialized have really taken a bit of a change here, because for ages they've had batteries that slide out of the bottom of the bike on the Gen 3. And on the original generations, they kind of just came out of the down tube like that. But this is completely new. And this is a side loading battery, new for Specialized. It's so secure. And actually, again, it's quite a simple design, looks like a simple design, but massively effective. This side plate secures the battery down, clamps the battery down. And this side part of the bike comes off, and then the battery just pulls straight out from the frame. And this is an 840 watt-hour battery. This is a big battery. The bike can take smaller battery, range extender only, or the big 840 watt-hour battery. It's quite a chunky battery, square or slightly rectangular. And this is cool. This is one of the only bikes I've ever seen that actually has a place to carry your stuff inside the frame. This is a little swap bag. I put a little Rafa jacket in here. When I was out in Madeira, it fits in there, no problem at all. It's magnetic on here, so when you slide it back into the frame, it just pops up there. There you go, and it clips in. And then the battery, this is one of the quickest batteries to remove on the market, and that secures in. This plate goes over, the bolt is already built in, so you're not dropping bolts and things on the floor. And then this just tightens down, and this basically wedges the battery completely in the frame, and that is it. That is a really neat design. One of the biggest batteries out on the market, 840 battery or a 600 battery, range extender, or a combination of them all, or remove the entire battery and just run on the range extender, but you are running on lower power. The charge-in has been upgraded too. The bike now supports fast charging, with an optional 12 amp smart charger. Now this charger is pretty hefty, but it can take the 840 battery from 0 to 80% in under an hour, and that's quicker than anything else out there right now. It also includes an 80% charge mode, which is designed to extend battery life over time, especially useful for storage or daily charging when you don't need full range. And there's also an eco mode for slower, more efficient charging. These modes are selectable on the charger itself. It's really simple, you just press this button and select the mode that you want. Now this on here is very neat. It reminds me a little bit of an Apple Watch display. Maybe it's slightly taller, but it's a beautifully kind of slightly concaved display that's neatly integrated into the top tube. It's very bright, easy to see in sunlight. It's much bigger than the previous gen, which had a kind of long coffin style with a small, very small display on it. This is much bigger in comparison. And it gives all the important detail, the mode that you're in, the battery life you've got left. There's a few customizations that you can do. It contains all the settings and the menu and all of that kind of stuff. But one of the big differences that you might notice from the previous gen is the remote. The remote is quite a bit different. So we've now got this kind of like three-way. It's got a button here, down, up, and select. So instead of using like a kind of two-way button with a really awkward button underneath here, we actually now use this little kind of toggle button on here. I'm going to say it takes some getting used to. It's not super quick and easy and intuitive when you've got gloves on to find, compared to just mashing a button. I don't find. I think it would be something that I do get used to. So as I'm toggling through, I can change the modes, Eco, Trail, Turbo, and I can also press in the select button to go through the different menu screens on here. It's pretty intuitive, like once you've used it a few times you kind of get it straight away. It's typical Specialized, like really easy to use and well designed, legible, super slick and easy to see, and just makes sense. Anyone could just pick this up and use it. And then you hold down two of the buttons, the S button and up, and then you can get into the settings. We've got various different menus and things. So I've got to give a lot of credit to Specialized here, because designing something like this in-house, it's well designed, it's slick, it's typical Specialized, beautifully integrated into the carbon frame. New remote, shame it's not wireless, it's got a cable on it. Maybe it's where it powers the bike on, it has to be hardwired into the bike, but it's a beautiful integration nonetheless. I really like how easy it is to understand everything, and displays on top tubes on bikes now just make sense, don't they? Finally, one of the neatest pieces of tech on a bike is Apple's built-in Find My feature. Essentially, it's like an AirTag has been hard baked into the bike, and it seamlessly integrates into Apple's Find My ecosystem, meaning full tracking direct from your iPhone. So a bike that's fully loaded with the latest tech, big battery and big motor power. Stay tuned for a full ride video coming real soon, and make sure you're subscribed to be the first to see that video.